Welcome to a place where hearts unwind, infinite threads that gently bind, love and compassion in every line. Together we rise through space and time.
Welcome back to Infinite Threads. I'm your host, Bob. Something subtle begins to happen when you make a habit of practicing love and compassion every day. At first, you don't notice it. Life still looks the same on the surface. People still argue. Traffic still irritates you. Something that lands wrong and stirs up that familiar little flash of frustration. Yeah, that still happens. But somewhere along the way, something begins to shift. Not in the world around you, but in the way that you see it. You start noticing things that you used to miss. The impatient person in the grocery line isn't just rude anymore. You begin to wonder what kind of day they might be having. The coworker who seems sharp or defensive might suddenly look less like an adversary and more like someone carrying a heavy load that you can't quite see. And this isn't something you force. It happens gradually, almost like a lens slowly coming into focus. Because when you practice compassion regularly, you begin to remember something that's very easy to forget in the rush of daily life. Every person that you meet is living inside a story that you cannot fully see. The person who cut you off in traffic might be rushing to a hospital. The person who snaps at you might have spent the night worrying about someone that they love. The person who seems cold or distant might simply be tired of feeling misunderstood. Now, of course, we don't always know the exact reason behind someone's behavior, but something powerful happens the moment we allow for the possibility that a reason exists. It softens our reaction. Instead of jumping straight to judgment, a small pause appears. And inside that pause, empathy has room to breathe. You begin to realize that many of the difficult moments in life are not really battles between good people and bad people. More often, they are collisions between two human beings who are both tired, both imperfect, and both trying to navigate the complicated terrain of being alive. Once you begin to see this, it becomes harder to flatten people into simple categories. The difficult person starts looking more like a human being having a difficult moment. The angry person starts looking more like someone who may be hurting. And even when someone truly behaves poorly, you begin to sense that their behavior may say more about the storms inside of them than it does about your worth or your dignity. This shift in perception, it doesn't make you naive. It doesn't mean you allow yourself to be mistreated or ignore real harm. Healthy boundaries still matter, guys. But it does mean that your first instinct begins to change. Instead of assuming the worst about people, you begin allowing space for their humanity. And that changes the emotional climate of your life more than you might expect. Because the moment you stop seeing people as enemies or obstacles, something inside you relaxes. You're no longer carrying the constant weight of suspicion. You're no longer bracing for battle in every disagreement. You are simply encountering other human beings, each one trying in their own imperfect way to find their way through the world. And once you start seeing life this way, something remarkable happens. Compassion stops feeling like an effort. It becomes a natural response. You notice the tired look in someone's eyes. You recognize the frustration in a person's voice. You see the flicker of loneliness that hides behind someone's sharp words. And suddenly, the world becomes filled with quiet opportunities. Opportunities to be patient. Opportunities to offer kindness. Opportunities to remind someone, even in a small way, that they are not invisible. You may not fix every problem. You may not change every difficult interaction. But each time you choose to see the humanity of the person in front of you, you strengthen something important. You strengthen the thread. That invisible thread that we talk about so often here, the one that connects us beneath all our differences and disagreements. And the beautiful thing is this: the more you practice seeing people this way, the more natural it becomes. It just starts just happening regularly. Your mind stops racing toward judgment. Your heart becomes quicker to understand. And the world begins to feel just a little less hostile. Not because everyone suddenly becomes perfect, because they don't, but because you have learned to see the human being standing behind the moment. And sometimes that simple shift in perception is enough to change everything about the way we move through our lives and the way we meet one another along the way. It's something to think about, guys. I love you guys very, very, very much. And you know what I need you to do. Go out and pass that on. All right? Later, Gators. Bye-bye.